Lower respiratory system for General Human Biology Lab. Important structures to remember. Trachea carries air. It's got these nice cartilaginous rings to prevent it from collapsing when the diaphragm drops down. Remember that the diaphragm contracts, it moves down. We don't have a muscle for it to contract moving up. So for inhalation, where it drops, we can contract that muscle, but it has to relax. This is why we have the Heimlich maneuver, because if you get something lodged in your trachea, you don't have a muscle to forcibly exhale. You can only relax your inhalation muscle. That's why if you forcibly squeeze the entire abdominal cavity, then you can force air out, forcing out any particles that are lodged in the trachea. All right? So the trachea comes down. Those rings prevent it from collapsing. It splits into two bronchi here. The bronchi then split into smaller bronchioles. The bronchioles are exceptional because they have smooth muscle tissue surrounding them that may contract if allergic reactions to particles or viruses cause them to do so, causing asthma. Okay. These then move into smaller and smaller channels that eventually end at the alveoli, which are represented by this red tissue here. But let's take a closer look on the image. So in this image here, we see the trachea. These are the bronchi, bronchioles. The purple tissue here is the alveolar tissue, and you can see in this image the alveoli looks like a bag of grapes, or if you want to think about it as an inflated rubber glove, that's fine. High surface area to volume here. Air comes in and is exchanged via diffusion into the blood. So there is no active transport of oxygen into the blood. It just has to go from a high concentration inside the alveoli to a low concentration outside the alveoli, which is why it's extremely important to have a very high surface to volume ratio. You can also notice in this drawing the smooth muscle tissue that surrounds the bronchioles that may cause it to contract in the case of asthma. I think that covers the lower respiratory system.